Hey guys, and welcome to my first video on this channel. I'm gonna go ahead and insert something here so it doesn't just look like I'm pointing at Casper. So this is kind of supposed to be like a couples vlog. My boyfriend and I actually discussed starting a YouTube channel together, but he doesn't actually know that I went ahead and made one just yet, so I guess this is gonna kind of be like a surprise for him. But just a heads up, my boyfriend and I do actually live on opposite sides of the country. We are currently in a long distance relationship, but it's only a 3-hour time difference, so it's not too bad. But because of that, you won't be seeing him on here as much. But I am going to try to have it so we alternate uploading, different content. And seeing as how this is my first video on this channel, just a disclaimer, it is going to be very amateurish, very cringy. I'm going to try to do everything in one shot with like little to no editing. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to edit it just because I'm having a brain fart here. But I just thought, what better way to spend all this free time? I thought, what better way than like my coming out story, or for everybody, everybody's coming out experience is different. There is no two people who have the same exact experience. So I just thought I'd go ahead and share mine. And yeah, introduce myself. So my name is Stephen Toy. Yeah, my name's Stephen Toy. I officially came out when I was like 15 years old, but I feel like I knew I was gay when I was like 8 years old. Back then there was this one girl that I was best friends with and like one guy that I was best friends with. And I just remember there was one time when me and the girl, we were just we just were experimenting and showed each other like each other's private parts. Exciting moment, I guess. Yeah, exciting moment, I guess. But I remember telling my guy best friend about it, and he got a little jealous, and I guess we did the same thing. So we like showed each other ours, and I feel like ever since then I just knew I was gay pretty much. Yeah, I feel like I attended, I don't even know what the fuck. I feel like I attended like schools where it was predominantly like non-Asian. I grew up kind of being bullied, specifically for the fact that I was Asian. Back then for me, I just thought like, damn, like I just thought seeing Asians was rare aside from like family members. I really did feel like the minority back then, even though right now I feel like there's like Asians everywhere. But it wasn't until 10th grade that I actually attended a school where I wasn't the only Asian. I met other people who kind of like grew up with the same cultural experience that I did. And I just remember like eventually when I attended like the school with more individuals that I felt like I was able to identify with, I felt more comfortable pretty much coming out. And I guess it was at this time that I remember like, oh, such a throwback. But I just remember like it was around this time that I actually went ahead and updated my Facebook and MySpace, saying that my preference was that I was interested in men and women. But yeah, I came out as bisexual as first. Everyone pretty much knew I was gay, I feel like, even though I feel like I'm not like the super out there type of gay. But yeah, high school, it was a journey, I guess. It was one hell of a it was one hell of a journey. I was like the only openly gay student in my school, I feel like. I mean, there were other people who were like gay or like, in the closet. Like obviously but like there were other people who were in the closet, but obviously the door was made out of glass. Like everybody knew they were gay. But I was the only one who was like openly gay. Everyone knew pretty much. I did the whole shebang. Like I went to prom with a guy. I was leader of the GSA club. I feel like at the beginning of my coming out experience, it left a very like bitter taste in my mouth. When I first came out, I was actually bullied for being gay. And the sad part was, it was from one of my close friends' boyfriend. But my friend started going out with this guy, and me and him bonded. We got along. We went to the same high school after all. Yeah, so I feel like this guy was just like fake as hell. He acted one way when his girlfriend was around, but then he acted another way when she wasn't. So he was very like sweet and caring to me. I feel like when she was around, like he'd give me hugs and stuff. And he'd always say stuff like, I love you, bro, blah blah blah. But then when she wasn't around, it's like he was a different person. I used to always sleep in class like this. He used to just always enter the class and like shove my elbow off the table, like almost causing me to like bang my head on the desk sometimes. And he would just be like, "Wake up, faggot!" And to me, I feel like it was just mortifying or like kind of embarrassing to be treated like that in front of like other classmates. I feel like back then I considered the guy my friend, but I always wondered why was he acting like this, or why was he treating me like this, you know? Even when we saw each other outside of school, it's just like if we were like across the street from each other, he'd start yelling like, "Hey, faggot," you know. And to him it was just like a joke, but to me, as someone who I kind of said like I feel like I'm not really that out there, I just don't really want like everybody knowing my business. Even though like I do have it on Facebook, or I did have it on Facebook and MySpace that I was interested in men, doesn't mean that I want like everybody in public to know that I'm gay. Because I feel like it's normal. Like I'm just worried I'd get jumped or something. Sometimes he'd punch me in the arm, and I just remember I would tell some of my other friends like, oh, I was being bullied, but they just thought I was being dramatic. But it's just like, no, like if I wasn't being bullied, why do I have bruises on my arm? This guy would like punch me, and to him, I feel like he thought it was just a joke. But it's like, if you're joking, why do I literally have scars from it? You know what I mean? So yeah, my high school experience was pretty much that. I got bullied. I went to school. I went to the prom with a guy. Surprisingly, he didn't say anything about that. I just remember when we finally graduated, I saw him in Chinatown, from across the street, and he started yelling, "Hey, faggot," again. And I kind of just like walked by and just ignored him, and he texted me, and he was just like, "Hey, like I was calling you," and then I just, we already graduated. I didn't have to play nice anymore. So I just texted him back saying like, "Dude, like we're not in school anymore, and I'm just gonna be real with you. Like, I kind of just told him how I felt. Like, what you're doing isn't cool. I had to like pretend to be your friend when we were in school, but now that we're not in school, like, I don't have to anymore. And like, I'd appreciate if you just stop calling me that." And I feel like we kind of just stopped talking after that. But who gives a crap? Like, who gives a shit? This guy was fake anyway. Part one of my coming out story, I guess. Part two is like, I guess after coming out on like MySpace and Facebook, my cousins saw and told my aunt. She told my parents. This was when I was like 15 or 16. My parents were just like, "Oh, there's no way he's gay." Um, my sister, like, thankfully my sister back then covered up for me, and she was just like, "Oh, like he's in high school." Like, they all put that as a joke, and we brushed it off. Fast forward like a month later, my dad actually did like confront me and ask me if I was gay. And I said yes. And he was really supportive about it. My dad's actually Americanized, or he was born in America. He claims he has gay friends himself. So he was pretty understanding about it, which is great. Yeah, it's always nice to have a support system. And I feel like my dad's pretty much been there for me every single step of the way. He's known about like my boyfriends. He doesn't question anything, or like he never said anything whenever people came over, if you know what I mean. Part two, done. Third part, which is actually pretty recent, I ended up moving to California, which is where I met my boyfriend, or my fiance now. You know how I said like in high school, that's when I finally got comfortable and had the courage and confidence to actually come out. So when I started dating my boyfriend, that's when I actually gained the courage to come out again, but to my mom. I mean, it might not have been the best way to do it, but I kind of came out to my mom through the phone. At the time I thought it was best because me and my boyfriend were gonna go visit Boston in like a few months. So I was like, oh, what better time to tell her than now? So then she has a few months to like, get over it. Yeah, I was at work. I had like a crappy like janitorial job like at a hospital in Long Beach. And I just remember I took a long ass break pretty much. I was supposed to get like 30 minutes. I remember it was like an hour and a half that I took. I did not care. I called my dad and I was just like, oh, I think it's about time that I came out to my mom. And he was just like, you're gonna have to tell her sometime. So I was just like, yeah, this is the perfect time, because I already knew like I met the person that I wanted to be with for the rest of my life. Cringy. With me and my mom, it's always been a little complicated or like hard to communicate because there is a language barrier. I was born in America, and growing up, I actually feel like I forgot how to speak Chinese. Yeah, I remember I called my mom and I was just telling her like, oh, like, 我想同你讲嘢, which is pretty much like, I have something to tell you. So I told her 我係gay, and she was just like, what? Like, what is that? And in my head, I'm just like, bitch, you know what that is. I've heard her talk about, like, I've heard her say the word gay, like, growing up. But, all of a sudden when I said it, she wants to play dumb or, like, be in denial. Whatever. She's just like, oh, she doesn't know what that means. And I was like, oh, like, I don't know how to say it. Like, 我係同性戀, which I feel like means like I'm like a same-sex lover pretty much. And you know, she was still like, I don't know what that is. So I kind of just said to her like, "我中意男对," which means, you know, I like boys. Oh my God. I'm not even exaggerating when I say the gates of hell open pretty much. I feel like she called me like that whole entire week, like begging me to get a girlfriend, trying to bribe me to get a girlfriend. It was kind of ridiculous. Um, Saying she'd buy me a car or send me money if I was straight. And then eventually it got to the point where she was just like, "You have to move back to Boston. Like, the only reason why you're gay is because of California." It's like, no, like, what? The California heat turned me gay? Like, what the heck? I try to sympathize. She is like an older generation. And she did grow up in like a, you know, like a poorer region, I guess, where I feel like, especially in China, where like being gay isn't really accepted. So I feel like she probably grew up not really knowing any gay people. But pretty much that was part three of my coming out story, or that was like kind of like the most recent part, I guess. So I am engaged now. But my I'm not wearing on the ring right now though, just because I actually did lose like a lot of weight. But maybe I'll make a video about that too. But I lost a lot of weight, so surprisingly my engagement ring actually doesn't fit anymore. Yeah, so I'm engaged. My mom doesn't actually know, but you know, everyone else in the family knows. She'll find out eventually. I feel like there have been a lot of times within my coming out experience um that like more or less broke me, but I feel like also helped me become who I am today. And like, you know, everything was just put back together. Everything was put back in place. You know what I mean? But I feel like I grew up a little too early. I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like I began partying and like, you know, exploring and meeting like all the gay people that I knew back then when I was like 15. So I feel like by the time I was like 21, like I was all partied out and you know, I just didn't really care about that lifestyle anymore up until recently. But you know, I can't even do anything now because the virus. I feel like I've went through like countless heartbreaks just to get to where I am today. I mean, thank God I have like a boyfriend who like I love and appreciate and like, you know, the feeling's mutual. Yeah, thanks for watching this first video. I'll try to post something again soon, and hopefully the next video will be a post from my boyfriend. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though like I feel like my coming out story isn't as tragic, but I left out a lot of details to be fair. I don't want the video to be too long. Um, but I'll definitely touch upon other details in future videos. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, and I hope you guys look forward to the next one. With that said, like and subscribe. Steven out.